Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another Incursio the Gamer Dungeons & Dragons boss build video. Today we have with us every Catherine. Now, of course, if you have not played Limbus Company, please come back another time. If you already played it or do not plan on playing it, please feel free to stay. Spoilers ahead. Now, of course, a couple of things before we get into the video. I'm in the middle of eating lunch, and I figured this is a good time to record. I'm back outside because the audio quality in the room sucks. But yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. This should be uploaded by the PMs of today. So let's get straight into it. Before we get into the D&D build, Catherine is, of course, the love interest, and every Catherine is the, well, antagonist, pretty much, of Canto 6. The side antagonist, the main one being Earl King Heathcliff. Now, of course, she deems every Catherine to be the ultimate reason why Heathcliff lives such a miserable life, meaning every Catherine should die. Very similar to Earl King Heathcliff's, I suppose, ideals, and what a tragedy it is. They're each killing every version of each other themselves, so that way the other can be happy. Ultimately, Catherine does die, but let's get into the build now. Of course, every Catherine, medium undead, spirit, neutral evil. I see this as, yeah, you could make a, I suppose, argument for lawful, but I see it as neutral. AC 18, hit points 324, very low in comparison to the usual that I make for these bosses. Speed 40. Now, before we get into stats and all that, I'd just like to say, this boss is not good alone. The Heathcliff, the Earl King Heathcliff, can be used as a solo boss. He summons allies. He's a very, fitting boss. He's not bad. Meanwhile, Catherine, I see she kind of requires Earl King there, or at least, in the alternate dimension where they're fighting back and forth. If you'd used her to fight alone, maybe she could be a good fight against some level 10, maybe level 9 or 8 players, but I don't see her being viable in a level 12 to 14 fight, which the Earl King is, well, what I built him for. Now, of course, let's talk about our stats. If you have to prioritize stats, if you have a budget, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma are going to be your high ones, with intelligence being least prioritized, strength and con are going to be your dump stats. Now, if you are not doing based off of a, say, budget, these are the stats I advise. Saving throws are dex, wisdom, charisma, of course. Skills, arcana, history, insight, perception, performance, persuasion. Real good stuff there. Insight is still the expertise. Resistant to, of course, acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from magical weapons, right? As a spectral kind of, creature, she doesn't really take much damage. Additionally, immune to necrotic, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Gonna be very hard to kill her, effectively doubling her max HP from 324 to 648. But you will see why I do not deem her a level, 14 boss fight. You'll see why in a quick bit. Immune to most conditions as well. There are a couple of limitations there. I'll go over that in a quick bit. Dark Vision 120, Tremor Sense 60. I would not give her True Sight because she could not interact with her beloved Heathcliff, her Earl King Heathcliff in that case, where they were kind of fighting side by side but couldn't interact with one another. Languages, all spoken languages and sign language, of course. Challenge rating 20. Challenge ratings are BS. You guys know my whole ordeal. I just kind of slap on a number that I see fitting for the creature. As my Don Quixote was a 30, she over here is a 20, Heathcliff was a 21, that sort of thing. Moving on from that, let's go on to our traits. A distant identity. She's without a full physical form and is immune to most damage, resistant to most damage and most conditions. Exceptions, of course, being a psychic, radiant force, and incapacitated, invisible, and stunned. She can be stunned, which is a very nice little thing, with stunning strike with monks. But, in actual lore, I figured that her getting stunned is kind of getting staggered. Broken heart. Start of every combat, she cannot be reduced to 1 HP until the end of the next turn. She reaches 0. You guys will experience it as you play along, even if it sounds weird. She lets out a scream denial. It's all pointless and rises again to half her maximum HP once a day. So she gets a little revive mechanic once per long rest, pretty much. But another thing, she's a mythical creature. She's going to do this a couple of times. Haunting Presence. Each creature that starts its turn within 20 feet must make a wisdom saving throw, DC 18, or be frightened until the start of the next turn. This, I figured you could honestly get rid of this. With all these revives and traits that frighten creatures, you could technically make the argument she would be fine alone, but with her sources of attack and defense, she's not really all that great. Mirror of Regret. Once per round, takes damage, makes the attacker wisdom saving throw, DC 18. They take half damage dealt as psychic damage. Lastly, Shaky Ego. If both Catherine's hands have been defeated or dropped to 0 HP, she becomes stunned for a full turn, losing any resistances, maintaining all immunities. However, her hands may immediately take action at half HP. So basically, in order to get rid of her or to defeat her, you're going to have to get rid of the hands each time. And with the first turn arising, you're going to need to get rid of the hands once, with that second revive again, and lastly, the third time with that legendary action. You have to go through quite a bit of hit points with the hands, but they don't really do much. 4 actions. Forlorn Touch, it is a melee spell attack plus 12 to hit. 21 cold damage plus 14 necrotic. If they are frightened or charmed during that time, they take an additional 10 psychic damage. It's all pointless. Forgoes her entire action, gains plus 7 to her AC, effectively a 25 AC until the start of her next turn. However, instead of making 2 actions, her hands make 3 actions apiece. And lastly, every Catherine must die. She curses both her hands, lowered AC to 16 instead of what they actually are. However, they add an additional plus 3 to attack rolls and an additional damage dice for every attack. In turn, she loses all her resistances until the beginning of her next turn, maintaining all her immunities. Basically, her hands are the big source of her attacks, not her. In addition to that, while she has all these resistances, immunities, and condition immunities, she can lose them very fast. That's the idea. She wants to die, but anyone who stands in the way of her path, she will have to get rid of them, using, of course, these giant spectral hands. Now to the bonus actions. Breaking Heart of every Catherine. Instead of taking 2 bonus actions, she controls 2 large ghostly claws. They act on her initiative, and pretty much, they replace her bonus action. They make 2 attack actions each, 1 Tears of Sorrow, and 1 additional from the listed options below. Here are their stats. They are medium, undead, neutral, evil, AC 18, 86 HP apiece, 30 feet walking speed. They're hovering. Their stats differ between the left and right hands, as you guys can see here. But the moves pretty much are Tears of Sorrow, plus 7 to hit, 17 bludgeoning damage. Clutch of Tragedy, plus 8 to hit, 20 bludgeoning damage, strength saving throw 18, or be grappled, meaning they cannot really do anything else after that. And last, Meaningless Writhing, plus 10 to hit, 11 bludgeoning damage, and then strength saving throw 20 or be knocked prone, additional dex saving throw 20 or be restrained. You do both regardless. For the right hand, same Tears of Sorrow, Clutch of Despair is plus 12 to hit, a lot higher, but 13 bludgeoning damage, with saving throw 18. On a failed save, they are frightened. And Misery's all that remains, plus 8 to hit lower, but 26 bludgeoning damage, and Charisma saving throw DC 20 or be charmed, unable to attack Catherine or her hands. Remember, there is a move that she did do, it's all pointless, right? No, I completely, Forlorn Touch, apologies. Additional 10 psychic damage if they are frightened or charmed. Basically, the right hand is going to proc that move, and then she can deal a little more damage. With the left hand, it is mostly a self-relying unit, but if you can grapple or restrain the enemy, that makes it a lot easier for the right hand to do its thing. Now, moving on from that, of course, the hands have their own 86 HP. Once you get that down with a couple of spells, you are gold and good. They do not have resistances, but they will have immunities to naturally bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. That is only natural, I figure. Non-magical melee weapons or unarmed strikes, that sort of thing. Reactions. Mirror of Regret. When a creature within 30 feet hits her with an attack, she can force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw DC 20. On a failure, they take 15 psychic damage, become staggered until the end of their next turn. When I say staggered, I mean stunned. But, figuring the stagger mechanic is kind of nice from Limbus. I like including the words. Also, I don't think a couple of these things are actually from the Limbus. I like homebrewing the things. Boss sheets are probably one of my favorite. Legendary actions. 3, of course, Forlorn Touch. Makes 1 Forlorn Touch attack. Sorrow Flows. They may make an additional attack action, her hands, both of them, meaning from 2 to 3. This stacks up with the traits, I believe. She did have a trait that allowed her hands. No, apologies. Every Catherine must... No, it's all pointless. I'm going crazy right now. Instead of making 2, they make 3. This stacks with Sorrow's Flow. So instead of 3, they make 4 pretty much within that turn. Lastly, every Catherine must die. Release Wrathful, Sorrowful Psychic Energy within 30 feet around herself. Strength saving throw DC 21, restrained. And subsequent strength saving throws are DC 18. And 18 necrotic damage if they are fails. Now, Mythic Action, a revive mechanic. If she drops to 0 hit points for the first time, she is revived at half health. You can make an argument where Mirrored Catherine is the exact same as Broken Heart, and it's just 1 revive. pretty much. And, that's perfectly fine. She's revived to half health. Her hands make additional attack actions per turn, so it goes from base 2 to 3. So base 3 to 4, and with that legendary action, it goes up to 5. This is very attack-based, but it's just her hands. You can get them down with a power word kill. Moving on from that, though, she has 5 legendary actions instead of 3, so you can pretty much do every Catherine Must Die and then Sorrow's Flow, or 2 Sorrow's Flow and a Forlorn Touch. Here's a description for Catherine, naturally. And ladies and gentlemen, that is every Catherine. I was in the middle of eating lunch while I was finishing up the build, and here I am now sitting outside basking in the sunlight, enjoying myself with my here Beijing beef. Yes, I'm in a very Asian time of my life. For those of you who don't know, I am Asian. But anyways, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, happy Halloween. I made 2 very spooky builds for boss battles, and I do feel like, yeah, they could have been improved upon. If I'd given myself maybe another week, I could have done way better. Fixing, for example, typos, or, grammatical errors, or even just making the bosses better on their own, and not Catherine relying entirely on Earl King Heathcliff, whereas Earl King Heathcliff is his own separate identity. But yeah, if you wanted to, personally, you could make this a level 14 fight, but you could honestly do it with a bunch of level 10s. 4 level 10 characters, just going at it, beating down on her. If she only has a 1 revive mechanic, you get rid of the mythical trait, or combine the mythical trait with the broken heart, naturally. But yeah, overall view of her, very high intelligence stats and mental stats. The way to kill her is to get rid of the hands first, then deal massive damage to her, as usually she's going to be doing the move where she increases her AC and keeps all her resistances, giving her hands more attack actions. Get the hands down, she loses resistances, you deal more damage, she comes back up, you do the same thing again. Very, very simple, very, very straightforward. You can stun lock her pretty much if you just dump everything into the hands and have one person just dealing damage to her. It'll be a long combat, but she's not a hard boss, especially considering, if she gets stunned, she won't take her legendary actions. I don't think she physically can. So get rid of that, you're all good. Hands aren't that hard to beat. Fair AC, but not that bad HP. Yeah, just kill the hands, she's down. If you were to partner them up, however, I would personally say a level 16 fight with 4 players, maybe 6 players if you really wanted to, but that'd be a washing of the bosses. You could absolutely have a ton of fun with this fight. And, I didn't make a layer for her, but if you wanted to, Wuthering Heights is just like, make a dex saving throw every so often, don't get hit by the lightning, don't slip up on the floor maybe. Very crazy environment, maybe a dex saving throw, wisdom saving throw to not get consumed by mirror shards, as the world is kind of cracking back and forth between reality and not reality, or mirror worlds, as every Catherine is kind of there. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's kind of windy, but thank you so much for watching this one. It's been an honor making this every Catherine build and the Earl King Heathcliff. Yeah, let me know what you guys want to see later down the line. Regarding builds, I have Jebrua down, the Red Mist, of course. I have the Blue Reverberation. Oh, right. And Library of Ruina and Lobotomy Corporation just went on sale for 55 and 66% off, respectively. And I just bought them. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot of Lobotomy Core and Library builds from now on. I might be making Magical Girl Dawn sometime soon, in the spirit of Christmas, maybe. But I also have those 12 Sinners on the lineup. You best believe your boy's going to make them very nice. I have all the time in the world to make them, after all. Anyways, I'm dragging this on too long. Everyone, you have a wonderful day. Goodbye, and good night.